think humans crave authenticity, right? They crave honest
Now,
authenticity.
that's a
And
huge deal.
and I think as a marketer, you have to be thinking, how do I deliver that to my customer? How can I
If I'm
get
gonna
an authentic message to them?
Yeah, if I'm going to project what I think the next year, a couple years are going to be with content writing, it's going to be this. There's going to be a high volume of boring content, and not only a high volume of boring content,
Yeah.
but a high volume of content that is less than human. So if I want to rise above that, there was a point
Mhm.
in my writing career where, I was taught to take myself out of things, to make it so it's broad, et cetera, to not inject yourself into things. I think the opposite is true now. I think that you have to anchor everything you do to both the human condition and also yourself as a person in order to leverage authenticity and also to make a connection. Because you don't need
Yeah.
to read my information. You can put it in a chat GPT. You can get the answer. I can get the answer. We can all get the answers. But how do you be memorable? How do you be sticky? How do you stick in and be someone
Yep.
that is trusted? You do that by using some human emotion to it. And I think that one of the easiest ways to do that is vulnerability. Actually saying to yourself, I have problems with this too, or this is a challenge that I face. Like letting people in is something that AI doesn't do. It doesn't say, geez, when I was young, I had this problem. It doesn't have any kind of human condition as a filter for what it puts out into the world. It just takes raw facts, organizes it, and
Yeah.
spits it out.
I love what Wendy said here. She's agreeing with you, Nick. She said, I agree, Nick. I think events are going to leapfrog to being the best investment for marketing dollars. AI is going to level the messaging playing field. Events are going to be the one way to get trusted connections. I mean, Wendy, I think it's always been the case. There's a reason that people gravitate to the face to face, right? There's a reason we have the show and we have these discussions about meaningful connection and events being a sales and marketing strategy. I agree. I think the more that the internet AI to me is just a maturity of the internet, right? You're just seeing maturity, maturity, maturity. You're seeing technology, and it is going to cause blurred lines. So I think part of the reason we're having a show like this is because I want to show people and I want to learn myself. How do you take the technology and make it applicable? How do you use it the right way? Because you're going to get marketers, you're going to get people, they're going to scam with AI, right? Just like people did with SEO, just like people built BS websites, keyword stuffed, bought domain. I mean, I can go on forever. Backlinking, all this stuff. Like people abuse this stuff. But at the end of the
Did you
day,
deal? Have you
did
dealt
what?
with
Of
those? Have you dealt with those suppliers who had slick websites and everything on their social media looked really, really good, and then you met them in person? It's
course.
like you don't know anything. Like
Of
you've never
course. But
done any of this stuff,
it's
and
people trying to
now,
make a quick buck. It's people trying to
yeah,
leverage something.
that's
And
why we meet people, right? Like that's why we
that
look them
shit
in the
only lasts
eyes.
so long. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
only
you look them
lasts
in the
so long. It
eyes.
has a run rate. Yep.
Yeah. And so I think that that's going to be exponentially increased, where the ability to have, to look, to fake it, and maybe you make it, but fake it is going to be incredible. Like the amount of digital falsehood is going to exponentially increase. The amount of video content that make it look like, oh, I did this or I could do this or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's the bad side for the world. The good side for us is that we actually are the ones in charge of the only domain of truth, which is in person. So in person, like we know that this is real. Like when I'm telling you something, like I did a presentation recently where someone's like, how do you know if content is going to be good or not? Like what are people going to crave in content? And I referred to it to a story that, like that was personal. And I explained that it was like, I listened to a song from this artist, and this art, I knew that, it could have been an AI artist, but it wasn't. I knew this person explained that their album was about their mom dying. And I explained how, I was listening to it as that was happening to me, and it anchored it in this like real moment that we all shared because I was vulnerable, I was authentic, and it was because another artist gave of something of themselves and did it from a human place. All of that stuff is going to really matter. But in the events world, that's what we do. Like most of the business we have are at around, hotel lobby bars. Like they're about like, it's about the messy people stuff. And all of this stuff is going to help us do that stuff faster, and you're going to get more organized and all that good stuff. But our domain itself, like the live events, are going to be an oasis from the sort of like me being able to create this image here that didn't happen. Like that didn't actually happen. And like, this, didn't wasn't
And it's
written
not a
by a
real
person.
place.
Yeah, it's not a real place.
That's not a real place versus like the other day I had a friend of mine I saw on Facebook went to the Grand Canyon, right? And like the picture, I was sitting there staring, I was like, that's amazing. That's real. Like I was thinking to myself, like, that's amazing. You know what I mean?
And
That
felt more to
authenticity.
be there,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
and we can't even capture that in an image. So it's twofold. We're going to be able to do what we do faster, better, etc. And all the world of events that are, you know, not necessarily as streamlined, as fast as all these other things, the digital, they're going to survive for sure. They're not going to be replaced because people are going to crave these authentic, real experiences even more in a world that has deep fake videos and all this other stuff we didn't get into. And I really think that, like, you know, events are going to, you know, benefit a lot from a world of instant everything.
I agree.